Greg Bakken here. It's nice to get out of the Twin Cities and take some travel excursion to some great locations. Minnesota has so much to offer, which is why I love traveling down to Wabasha and staying at the historic Anderson House Hotel. Opened in 1856, this beautiful hotel offers comfortable accommodations, has a delicious restaurant, and even a speakeasy in the basement to unwind with a drink. Located next to the Mississippi River and on Main Street, there is a lot of sightseeing and shopping to do too. To get more information, go to theandersonhousehotel.com.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story. This is our story. This is Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on Ghostbox Radio.
And this is Ghostbox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakken. Thank you very much for joining us. And it is Casual Friday. You know what that means. That means that we've made it to the end of the week, hopefully without too many casualties. And that's not what the casual stands for in Casual Friday. And I just, we're getting close to Thanksgiving. So this is kind of our Thanksgiving episode in a sense, because next week, we'll be on Monday through Wednesday, but we're not going to be on Thursday or Friday. So, we'll get through our Thanksgiving, I don't know what you call it, celebration, talk, whatever it is. We're going to do that tonight. And, feel free to join in, talk about whatever you want to tonight. We do not have Adam with us tonight. He'll be back with us on Wednesday when we have Psychic Medium Refined Divine on. But you know how this works. So without Adam, I'm not able to take calls tonight. But what you can do, if there's something on your mind, something you want to talk about, go ahead, put it in the comments. We'll get to it. This is your night. If there's something that is on your mind or you want to talk about, you are more than welcome to do so. Put them in, and we'll talk about it as much as we can. And just kind of ease into the weekend, as I like to say. And I think we'll probably do this, the second segment. I think what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the question of the week. And the question of the week this week, so if you want to put it into the comments, if you want to answer, the question of the week is, if you're celebrating Thanksgiving next week, is the big meal, your big Thanksgiving meal, is that going to be traditional or non-traditional? And if it's, either way, what are you going to have? I'm very curious. I'm very pro food, if you haven't noticed. So I'm curious what people are doing. I also have very fond memories of some of my Thanksgivings, and I want to share some of that with you later. I think we're going to do that in the second segment. So go ahead if you want to put it in the comments. So we put it out there on Facebook and Instagram and all over the place. And we got some answers that we're going to read through a little bit later. A little bit of house cleaning before we get started. I just want to say Ghostbox Radio is very proud to be a sponsor of the Rock Island Roadhouse Esoteric Expo. That's going to be October 4th, 2025. That's in Rock Island, Illinois. And I know that we have some folks here that, we're all Minnesota over here. So you might be like, well, I'm in Minnesota. We're going to talk about this a lot over the next year. And I am helping out with programming on this a little bit and giving some ideas. And, what really, really makes me very happy about taking part in this Rock Island Esoteric Expo is simply the fact is what everybody wants from this, who is putting this on, is simply for people to come out there, have a good time, and walk away with learning something about paranormal, metaphysical, whatever else. And within that, it could also be podcasting. It could also be just a whole lot of different things. And that we are, that we're walking away. I mean, there are Paracons, and a lot of great Paracons, by the way, where, sometimes in the evening you're out drinking and whatever else, and that's totally fine. This is more of like, let's just have an entire day of some really cool programming. But also with that, I want to also say there's other things we're thinking of, and this isn't 100% certain yet, but talked about the possibility of there's going to be an investigation regardless, but also talking about the possibility of me leading a group on the CE5 experiment out there, and talking with some other people who were there just this last October doing the same expo. There were some UFO sort of things happening there. And so all of this is very important. And so if you wanted to try a CE5, this is going to be one way we can do it in a safe environment. We're going to talk more about that as the year goes on. We're going to bring in Candy. We're going to make also, we're going to Candy. It makes it sound like I'm bringing in Candy. I only I know what I'm talking about. Apparently, Candy Slater. She is one of the. She's the person putting it on over at Rock Island, and she is going to be on throughout the course of the year, talking about what we have going on, what we're going to be doing. I really think you're going to have a good time coming out there. So just want to let you know where we're at. I wasn't able to make it out there this year, but planning ahead. And one way to get me out in these things is get me involved. And I love to be involved. I love to help out. So we are definitely, we're looking forward to it. And I think people are also looking forward to, just if you have ideas, let them know. It doesn't mean that it's going to be, but all ideas are considered. And really, this is meant to be an event where people are going to, learn from each other. There is no hierarchy, and that's the thing that I find at Paracons, and that's not a rip on. I mean, it's just how it works. You bring in para celebrities. That's it. There's a hierarchy there. The idea here is that everyone is on the same plane of learning and enjoying and taking part. Really don't want egos or anything. We want people to really walk away and be like, that was great. That was really neat. This is different than what we normally experience at one of these things. So we'll be talking more about that as we get closer to that. So stay tuned, and I will be passing along more information as we get it. And like I said, Ghostbox Radio is a sponsor, one of the sponsors for it. It's our first event that we've ever actually took part being a sponsor of, so we're really excited about it. Shar says in the comments, this will be an amazing event. The CE5 would be amazing to be a part of it, and it really will be. And I think that I talk about it enough that it'd be interesting for us to try it and do it safely, make sure we're taking care of ourselves, but be able to do it. A number of people saying hello on the comments. Hello there. Denise, I will get to your comment about what you're making, Ernie, for Thanksgiving in the second segment. I think it's what they call haute cuisine, so that should be pretty amazing. Speaking about events, though, I also want to make sure that we do talk about an event that is coming up here in December that I'm also taking part of, December 7th and 8th, the Charvinity Psychic and Healing Fair, Maria Shaw Minneapolis Holiday Convention. That's, once again, I said December 7th and 8th over at the Doubletree by Hilton, Minneapolis Airport. We've done a number of these. I've taken part in a number of these. These are a lot of fun. If you haven't gone to one yet, please do so. I think you're going to have a great time going there. I myself am going to be speaking on Saturday, and I'm going to be talking about careful for what you wish for when it comes to intentions, which we just got done talking about CE5 experiments. Careful for what you wish for, because you got to be careful with these intentions if you want to reach out. And it goes beyond aliens, goes beyond if you want to try to reach out to a forest friend, a forest person. You just really want to make sure that you know what you're doing. And we're going to be talking a little bit about that. That's going to be at 3 p.m. on December 7th. But the whole 2 days is going to be amazing. A lot of fantastic practitioners who are very talented and very good at what they do. And also, of course, Shar is going to be there. Maria Shah is going to be there. I think we'll get at least Shar back on prior to it and just talking about it. But more information, go to charvinityfairs.com. It's updated with the information about the event on December 7th and 8th. And go out there, and we'll talk about it a little bit more as we get closer to it. But it's a lot of fun. It's like kind of what I'm excited about with the Rock Island Paracon is that these events are geared to be a little bit different, a little bit just, and I got to be careful here because I don't want to make it sound like other events are not, but really trying to make sure that they're kind of personalized, that they feel good for everyone that comes in, that everyone has a good time. And once again, I'm not saying other ones don't do that, but this is, one of the things that gets me excited about coming out to these is definitely being able to have those experiences and really feel good. And people, you can see people are having a great time being a part of these events. So Charvinity's fair is going to be on December 7th and 8th. So really excited about that. We'll talk more about that as we get closer. Also, if you wanted to hear me on the other side of the mic, and I don't know if anyone has any interest in that, but I recorded 3 interviews this week. It was quite the week. And I'll let you know when these come out. On Monday, I did an episode of Disembodied Voices with Kelly Schutz, and that's going to be on Paraflix next year. Tuesday, I did an episode that was live, so it's already out there, called The Gateway Podcast with C.L. Thomas. That aired Tuesday live, but it's out there if you want to find it. It was a great conversation. And then on Wednesday, I recorded some of my experiences with Morgan Knudsen and Mike Brown for Supernatural Circumstances. That's airing down the line. And I think I'm going to have both Morgan. Well, I'm going to have C.L. Thomas on. She's going to be on next Tuesday talking about spirit art. And Morgan, we're going to get Morgan on because we want to talk about her experiences with Dogman, which are going to be fantastic. And then Mike Brown, he just wrote a book and he's doing a lot of stuff, and it'll be an honor to have him and Morgan on. So a lot of good stuff. Excuse me, I still have my I don't have COVID, but I still have my little scratchy throat. So that's exciting. I'm really excited to be able to do that. I don't do a ton of these interviews, that is. So it was really fun to do so. And they're great topics, great. I think they came off very well. So if you're interested, I will pass them along to everyone so that they know if they want to have a listen and see and just hear a little bit more from my standpoint of things as well. Today is the 61st anniversary of the assassination of John F. Kennedy. And so if you listened on Wednesday, we had author Paul Blake Smith on. It is a fantastic conversation about the JFK conspiracy, which I just do not see how it could be anything other than something that we don't have all the information about, that is not straightforward, especially when you really start looking at how it's, the government's always said it's a single bullet and how many bullets are actually found. Just that alone is kind of weird, right? So one of the things I wanted to quickly talk about here, and I brought it up very quickly when I was talking to Paul, and that was, I'm a big physical media fan. Like I have an interest in film, like physical film and videotape and stuff like that. And so I brought up the Zapruder film, which was taken, of course, at the time is the one of the only films that really is a great shot. And I mean, great in terms of it's perfectly looking at the assassination of JFK. So that's the visual record of it. And I had mentioned about how it was, excuse me, taken away from the Zapruder and returned with a lot less film than it had. Like there's pieces excised out of it. Now I was looking that up today, and I read it in a book. I haven't seen anything else that corroborates that. So I want to dive a little bit deeper in that down the line. But what I didn't realize, and maybe some of you did, about this film was that, you know, being old enough to actually appreciate the assassination in terms of that it happened, that people are questioning it, all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff that, you know, when you get to a certain age, you start to realize, oh, this is what it is. And it's so much of it is, you know, fact, and it's already happened, everything like that. So one of the things is like that film has been around as long as I can remember. Like it's always been something that people, you know, always point to of like, this is the visual record of that assassination. What I didn't realize, and I'm sure the rest of the world did, is that that film was hotly desired immediately once it was found out that day, November 22nd, 1963, that film was that the film even existed, and it was developed that in its 8mm film. It was developed that day, and Life magazine found out about it, and they called up Zapruder and they said, can we come out tonight and see it? And he, you know, just a whole day of just seeing his president assassinated, knowing that he's the only one that caught it on film, just everything that, you know, all these police and everyone else trying to get to him and ask questions and all that stuff. So he's just like, no. And they're like, well, can we come out tomorrow and look at it tomorrow morning? And he says, yeah, sure. And they do so. And there's a whole bunch of other media outlets out there, newspapers, whatever, that want to get a hold of the film, get some sort of like exclusivity on it. They want to pay a lot of money for it. And what ends up happening is that Zapruder goes with Life magazine. And at that point, they sell for, I think, $50,000, and that was pretty much originally just for rights to be in print. And then within not too long, they go back to Zapruder and renegotiate for everything, for every aspect of media, and almost at that point in perpetuity, for Life magazine to have the rights to that film. And what Life magazine did, which I did not know, and maybe you all did know this, is that they would put frames in the magazine. They kept out certain frames because it literally was showing Kennedy getting his head blown off twice. But the film was never seen by the public, by the whole public, until 1975, when of all people, Geraldo Rivera, on his nighttime program, his daily nighttime program, he showed the film. He's just kind of like, I don't care if there's rights attached to it, because there was another copy made at the time as the original one was by the developer himself. He had a copy and he provided it to Geraldo, and it was just, I mean, it wasn't until 1975 that people actually, like the mass public, actually saw this. I had no idea, because I always thought it was always available. It was only available if you went to Library of Congress and you proved yourself to be a solid researcher, a legit researcher, and you would be able to see it when it's had its connections to the Warren Commission. And I just thought, boy, all that time, nobody knew, nobody saw it. And there's a lot of very interesting things to that. Is it the best quality? No, but it's one of those things that I was just really surprised that that nobody had seen it for that period of time. And I think it's one of those maybe little footnotes that get lost in history over time, because I mean, we're talking 60 years now. So who knows? But I thought it was very interesting. You know what? I'm going to want to take a break here. Once again, the question of the week is, if you're celebrating Thanksgiving next week, is the big meal going to be traditional or non-traditional? I'd like to know what your thoughts are. If it's going to be one way or the other, you can even share if you want Let us know what you're going to eat. I always love to talk food, so there is something to be said about that. So we're going to take our break here, come back, do question of the week. Anything on your mind, put into the comments as we ease into the weekend. This is Casual Friday, and you're listening to Ghostbox Radio on AM 950. Moonstone Minneapolis is a queer-owned, community-focused gift shop in South Minneapolis centered on curiosity, connection, and self-discovery. Explore astrology, tarot, crystals, herbs, mindfulness, and spiritual practices in a welcoming environment for all backgrounds and experience levels. Located at 3304 East Lake Street in Minneapolis, Moonstone Minneapolis also hosts makers markets, classes, and community events. Learn more at moonstoneMPLS.com and discover a welcoming place to explore with curiosity and respect. Greg Bakken here. It's nice to get out of the Twin Cities and take some travel excursion to some great locations. Minnesota has so much to offer, which is why I love traveling down to Wabasha and staying at the historic Anderson House Hotel. Opened in 1856, this beautiful hotel offers comfortable accommodations, has a delicious restaurant, and even a speakeasy in the basement to unwind with a drink. Located next to the Mississippi River and on Main Street, there is a lot of sightseeing and shopping to do too. To get more information, go to theandersonhousehotel.com. Greg Bakken here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville. Greg Bakken here. I've been talking for a while about how spooky, fun, and fascinating the Minneapolis trolley tours are, but now there's big news. The Candlelight Ghost Tours now begin at the historic Pillsbury Club, a beautifully restored haunted mansion once owned by Charles Pillsbury himself. Believe it or not, the interior is nearly 200 years older than the exterior. How is that possible? You'll have to come out and find out. Before or after your tour, stop by the on-site market featuring a curated collection of handmade goods, artisan crafts, and locally inspired treasures. Perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then, climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis' haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information. Looking for something different for family fun, a night out with friends, or your next team-building event? Try the escape rooms at Lilliput. Step into the haunted mansion, race to find a cure in the bunker, or survive Night of the Wolf, all with just 60 minutes to escape. It's private, immersive, and perfect for groups of all kinds. Book your adventure now, spots fill fast. Visit lilliput.net and see if your team has what it takes to escape.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on Ghostbox Radio.
And it is Casual Friday. Welcome back to Ghostbox Radio on AM 950. My name is Greg Bakken. Thank you very much for joining us on this Friday evening. And hopefully you have some fun plans for the weekend. If there's something that you are excited about doing, put it in the comments. Let us know. We'd love to know. If you have any investigations that you're taking part in this weekend, let us know that as well. I'm currently looking at the Gritty Gear Company website, as we know that they do a lot of for us, they're doing drop order shirts. They are printing them for us, but I'm just kind of looking at all the stuff that they have that they created, their designs, and there's some really fun ones on here, and getting into the Christmas spirit as well. A lot of Santa stuff here. So I won't, there's just some really good ones here. You got to go and check it out. Go to grittygearco.com and you're going to see these out here. Give them a try. You know, not only if you want to get some t-shirts printed for your company or for yourself or for an organization, but just some really fun designs that you can go and check out and get as well. And I have to say once again that there is Ghostbox Radio shirts there as well that you are able to purchase, and we're very proud of them. I'm going to quickly put that link into the comments as well. So if you are interested in supporting the series and getting that, let's see here. How does the computer work? Let's see here. Nope, that's not it. If you're interested in getting them, you can do so. I'm really happy with how all these turned out, and that's been a long process. So I put that into the comments for those. It's over at grittygearco.com. I think you could do a search for Ghostbox Radio as well. So we're really excited about that. Let's do question of the week. It's kind of Thanksgiving themed, and the thing is about that is that I'm a foodie. I love to know what people like to get, like to eat. Oh, Nicole got a shirt. Oh, that's very nice. Which shirt did you get? I'm just curious. I have a favorite. Thank you for getting that. Thank you for getting a Ghostbox Radio shirt. Hopefully you don't use it to clean the cupboards and stuff. That you wear it. That's all I would really ask about that. But Thanksgiving, everyone does something different. So I thought. And so the question here is, for the question of the week, is simply, if you're celebrating Thanksgiving next week, is the big meal going to be traditional or non-traditional? And what is it that you're going to eat? Because I'm nosy and I want to know what you're going to eat as well. Well, first of all, we have Denise and Ernie pack in it, and Denise has said that she is serving Ernie a bologna sandwich. Which, quite frankly, I think that's too good for him. Quite frankly, from what I know about you, Denise, you're making Ernie anything, even a bologna sandwich. That's something. That's saying something, isn't it? Because that's not really your jam at all, cooking of really any kind. So he's actually lucky there. Am I the only one though? Maybe I'm just hungry. I think I might be the only one that's like, a bologna sandwich actually does sound pretty good, actually, with toasted bread and some mustard. Okay, but let's get to some questions here, or some answers. Diana says she's going traditional. I get something like this once a year, so I enjoy traditional turkey, mashed potatoes, my dad's side dish peas and carrots, and my grandfather's stuffing is really good. And I think this is interesting because I feel like that there is also traditional also may mean for us, right, that we are honoring the dishes that relatives have made, that we are honoring them, so that we're doing some food that helps us remind us about our loved ones. Maybe they passed. I guess I never really thought about that. I'll tell you one dish that my mom made that I would never use to honor her. She was a really good cook. Lisa says that she's going traditional as well. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I like turkey, except around Thanksgiving. That's kind of how I roll. But now she says, now for Christmas, completely non-traditional. We do themes. This year is comfort food and pajamas. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. I want some of that. Lucy says that traditional dinner, the only difference is how I make my stuffing. Add green, yellow, and orange and red pepper to it. Oh, that's very interesting. I'd like to know how people do their stuffing. I mean, I don't need to necessarily know for, right away, but my mom always made it very wet and wet bread. And I'm going to say a couple things that mom made that hasn't been great. She is one of the best cooks I've ever experienced. I mean, because of my love for her food is why I'm the shape of a plum. And I just think that it's really it's important for me to say, because I'm going to say a couple things that I didn't really care for her stuff, some of her stuff for Thanksgiving, and one of them was the stuffing, because it was very wet, and wet bread really grosses me out. My dad was always one about having like the kind of the stuff that's like in juices and stuff like that, and I'm just like, no. Let's see here. Speaking of family, my sister says we'll be both traditional and non-traditional. And you couldn't have elaborated in any possible way on that, huh? Now, I think she might have done that because she invited me over to Thanksgiving. And so, maybe she's piquing my interest. Maybe she's going to pour like nacho cheese over the turkey or something. I really don't know what she's doing. So that's, feel free to give me more information. Cynthia says, definitely traditional. I got invited to a family dinner, and my friend is a 5-star chef. Wow. With her mom at her side with old recipes, going to be nummy. That's nice. That's great too. Do you all think that we put too much pressure on ourselves for these meals? And that's the always thing that I worry about is it too much pressure? I was at this grocery store today and I saw a woman, she was getting, you could tell it's for Thanksgiving, getting ingredients and stuff. And she's very concentrated. And I was just thinking to myself, all of us, and I always think about, once again, my mom, who, just this was important to get it right. Even if it was just my dad, my sister, and myself, it was important to get it right and have everything just right. And it's really interesting how, you see that. And especially for people who are hosting. A friend of mine, I was at her Thanksgiving last year, and I don't know if you're listening or not. And what she had 19, something like that, wasn't that? It was, but pulled it off amazingly, just incredible. But I mean, it's just so much work. It's so much work for a holiday, and maybe I'm just too lazy. I mean, I know I am. Who am I kidding? Jill Jade, she says, my dad said he plans to get the whole meal from Costco made already. That's the way to go. I'm guessing no one wants to wait for me to cook or plainly just wants something better. Oh, come on. But yes, we'll always have traditional. I'm okay with anything, though. How nice. It's always about the family, though, right? I remember that my dad, I probably shouldn't tell this. My great aunt, a wonderful woman, very strong in her beliefs. And she had, she just thought that everyone went to church every week. Let's just put it that way. No, just how it is. And I remember after one of the Thanksgiving meals, she's at the table, and she just kind of was a force that you had to. There's a lot of respect you had to give her, and she made. She was talking about church and kind of like. To dad, like, oh, John, it's as you go every week, and my dad's just like, yeah, I haven't been in 2 years. And that's where it was like, oh boy. And it wasn't like she's like yelling at him, but it was kind of like the guilt, like, oh, John, what do you mean you haven't gone? You haven't gone in 2 years. And it was at that point that my mom just quietly just stood up from the table, grabbed a couple of plates, to clean off the table, went into the kitchen. We never saw her again. And then myself, I think I kind of crawled under a table or something while my great aunt was kind of giving a guilt act to my father, who just kind of sat there. And us being a great family as we were, we left him high and dry. That's just what happened. We left him high and dry. He about an hour later, that conversation was done, but we were just in the kitchen, just like, yeah, well, that's not us. Sorry, we're not going to take part in that. And he's on his own. He said it. He should have known better. He said it. Stacy says, my sister and I are vegetarians, so we're having tofurkey. I had to be careful there. I don't want to get the FCC after me. But we also have a lot of traditional sides like mashed potatoes, scalloped corn, cranberries, and rolls. Sounds like a great time, Stacy. Very cool. The question of the week is, once again, if you're celebrating Thanksgiving next week, is the big meal going to be traditional or non-traditional? Going back to some of the comments that I had, Brian says mostly traditional. When Christmas comes around, we have tamales. That's cool. Mark, who I saw you on here tonight, Mark says Thanksgiving tacos. Now, Mark, if you're here, I'm curious, when you say Thanksgiving tacos, Are you saying that it's going to be like a taco shell with turkey and potatoes and peas and gravy? I think that would actually taste pretty good. Is that what you're saying, Mark? Wow. All right, that's cool. He's like, yep, that's what we're doing. That must be great, actually. See, I'd be on board for that 100%. I would do that. I did smoke a turkey one year in the Weber grill. No turkey. Okay, no turkey. Mark says no turkey. But traditional tacos. See, I was getting ahead of myself, Mark. Sorry. So I smoked a turkey one year, and it was fantastic. I did it a couple years. One year I did it when it was like 16 degrees out. That wasn't a lot of fun, but I did it, and it was amazing. And it was when I was still married, and my wife and my mother-in-law was here, and I carved up this turkey. It was fantastic. I had only a little bit because I was cooking everything, and I mean everything. And I ended up having that little bit, and then Anne left, my mother-in-law, and I was like to Jolene, I'm like, where's the turkey? Because I had like a piece, but it was amazing. It was really good. She goes, oh, Mom took it all. She did what? So I never got to enjoy that turkey. But, there you go. I tried it again the next year. It wasn't as good, but like I said, it was 16 degrees out. It's hard to smoke things when it's like just ridiculously cold. Shar says, Thanksgiving tacos, might need to try that. Mark does say, but your idea is good. I might have to change my plans. I think it would be really good. I feel like that's a soft shell idea for that kind of taco. If you ask my taco shell, turkey meat, potato stuffing, and cheese. I think you need some gravy, though, to be perfectly honest as well. I think you need a little bit of gravy, kind of like in the place of a salsa. That would be my my suggestion. Jill says, I did see Thanksgiving pizza in stores. Can't say I want to try it, though. Now, why is it that I don't want to try that, but I want to try the Thanksgiving turkey tacos? I mean, they're basically going to be the same things. Oh, and Mark's like, onions and jalapenos as well. Yeah, I think so. That sounds great. All that sounds really, really good. Let's see here. Where else are we going here? Let's see. Char's like non-traditional. She also said that she loved the picture that I used. I created a picture of all of our favorite cryptids and aliens and ghosts sitting around for Thanksgiving dinner. If we can do it, why can't they do it? Why can't they do it as well? I want to continue this conversation, but I do need to get in another break here because we have more answers to our question of the week. If you want to add to that and put it into the comments, please do so. We're going to be right back. We're going to get through some more spots. We're going to talk more Thanksgiving or anything else on your mind and kind of ease into the week as it is Casual Friday. You're listening to Ghostbox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakken here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com. Greg Bakken here. I've been talking for a while about how spooky, fun, and fascinating the Minneapolis trolley tours are, but now there's big news. The Candlelight Ghost Tours now begin at the historic Pillsbury Club, a beautifully restored haunted mansion once owned by Charles Pillsbury himself. Believe it or not, the interior is nearly 200 years older than the exterior. How is that possible? You'll have to come out and find out. Before or after your tour, stop by the on-site market featuring a curated collection of handmade goods, artisan crafts, and locally inspired treasures. Perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis's haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information. Moonstone Minneapolis is a queer-owned community-focused gift shop in South Minneapolis centered on curiosity, connection, and self-discovery. Explore astrology, tarot, crystals, herbs, mindfulness, and spiritual practices in a welcoming environment for all backgrounds and experience levels. Located at 3304 East Lake Street in Minneapolis, Moonstone Minneapolis also hosts makers markets, classes, and community events. Learn more at moonstoneMPLS.com and discover a welcoming place to explore with curiosity and respect. It's that time of year where the weather is getting nice and it's time to get out of the house for some family fun. Lily Putt is open for the season, and you know what that means. Lily Putt is known for its mini golf, go-karts, glow golf, jump pads, kiddie carts, gem mining, and even a new arcade. Lily Putt also has interactive and engaging escape rooms like the Haunted Mansion, the Bunker, or Night of the Wolf. Lily Putt is perfect for parties and group events. Stop by lilyputt.net for more information and hours of operation. Greg Bakken here. It's nice to get out of the Twin Cities and take some travel excursions to some great locations. Minnesota has so much to offer, which is why I love traveling down to Wabasha and staying at the historic Anderson House Hotel. Opened in 1856, this beautiful hotel offers comfortable accommodations, has a delicious restaurant, and even a speakeasy in the basement to unwind with a drink. Located next to the Mississippi River and on Main Street, there is a lot of sightseeing and shopping to do too. To get more information, go to theandersonhousehotel.com.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on Ghostbox Radio.
We are easing into the weekend. It's Casual Friday here in Ghostbox Radio. Thank you very much for joining us. Monday, we're going to be back. Some of you may know I enjoy this television series called Doctor Who. I might have mentioned it once or twice. Tomorrow is the 61st anniversary of the broadcast of the first episode, and folks like me who are big fans of it, yes, we celebrate that. Monday, I'm going to have on a gentleman by the name of Neil Cole, and Neil has a museum in the UK that houses a bunch of Doctor Who props. And we're going to be talking about what he has. And, you know, if you're not a fan of Doctor Who, it's still, I think, a really interesting program because any of us, we're fans of some kind of television show. And so maybe we're fans of something that is old, you know, that's been around for a long time. And don't you ever look at something and be like, I wonder if, like, the Batmobile still exists, or if, like, you know, the spaceship model from Lost in Space exists, you know, and it's easy to find, but it's also interesting to know. And so we're going to talk with Neil about that. And Neil also says where he has the museum might be haunted. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely please join us for that. That's going to be Monday on Ghostbox Radio. And we have been talking mainly about Thanksgiving. And, you know, sometimes it can't always be about paranormal. It's nice to take a little bit of a break and just be able to kind of enjoy stuff. And I'm happy to see that people are enjoying talking about their Thanksgiving and stuff like that. Though Annette does say, I really wish you could get some boxer shorts that say Ghost Boxers. That was the plan. The person who created those, we don't talk to anymore. So I just feel like that's probably not in the best interest to steal that idea. But it is a really good idea. Jill Jade says, what is everyone's favorite Thanksgiving? Because now apparently she's taking over the show. What is everyone's favorite Thanksgiving or holiday dessert or pie? Mine is always pumpkin pie topped over with whipped cream where I can't even see the pie. My gosh, pumpkin anything to me is, let's just be honest, disgusting. I do not like it. And I know that people will be like, oh, you probably had the wrong pie. You know, we probably got it from a store. Wait till it's homemade. I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to know it exists. I'm happy that people enjoy it. I'm proud. I'm so excited for you that you can do that. It's just not something I enjoy. anything with chocolate, you're starting to get you're going to get my attention. But I'm glad, Jill, I'm glad that you like it. I also want to talk about it, especially I know that there's some folks on here that actually are familiar with the UK or live out in the area. And I want to bring up something that probably one of the greatest or the biggest arguments at Thanksgiving that I've ever experienced when I had to been like 7, 8 years old. Turns out that I was like actually 25 or something. But Yorkshire pudding, okay? The idea of the term pudding is in the UK doesn't mean pudding as it does in the US. A lot of people know this. My dear mother did not. And so what Yorkshire pudding is basically a popover that is cooked in the oven, but also cooked with the fat renderings from like a beef roast or something like that. Or even, I'm sure it could be turkey or whatever, but it has to be fat that is poured into it before it actually cooks, because it helps pop up the popover. Well, I don't know what Mom thought. And I think if you're not used to that stuff, if someone says pudding, your mind is always going to be like pudding. Like it's always going to be like, I'm making a pudding. I don't know why it's telling me to do it this way, but I'm making a pudding. And so she made this eggy monstrosity. And like I said, normally she makes really good food. But she made this disgusting, literally horrible. It was like not creamy, which it shouldn't have been, but it wasn't also hard. It was yellow, and like I said, it should be a popover, so it should be browned and flaky and all that stuff. It was none of that, and it was quite frankly horrific, and we all thought it was. But she made it, and she wanted all of us to eat it. And I didn't want to eat it because it was truly, truly horrific. I'm not even sure if the egg was cooked. Let's just put it that way. She would not let me leave that Thanksgiving table until I finished it. And that took a long, long time to finish. That just was not. And so if it was already not fully cooked, by the time I finished it, it was very cold and very nasty. And it's something that we would joke about over time. But Damien's like, it shouldn't be soft. No, it shouldn't be. It should be flaky. It should be like a popover. It wasn't until years later people would talk about Yorkshire pudding, and I'd be like, no. And to be fair, I haven't had it since. To be fair, I haven't had it at all. And it was really kind of probably the worst thing Mom ever cooked. Now, to talk about the good stuff she did, which was innumerable, it was just so much. One of my favorite memories would be that she'd always have a little like present for us, like my sister and myself. It would always be under the plate on Thanksgiving, just like a little knickknack or something that we would specialize for each of us. And that was always fun. I mean, that's what she always did, was making sure that people had, a really good time, especially as we got older and like left the house and would come back. It'd be like, hey, I just want to let you know I picked up some Jameson for you because I know you love it. I got what you like to drink. Go for it. Have at it. That sort of thing. Or, I know that you love cheesy potatoes, so we're going to have that tonight as well. And so it's, I just want to let you know she's done so much more good than this nasty Yorkshire pudding, but it's ingrained in my brain for the rest of my life. And I just find it funny, and I feel like it's actually therapeutic to tell you all about it. And I'm reading some of the comments. My favorite though still is, it shouldn't be soft. No, it shouldn't be. And then Mark is on here. He's just talking. must be a foodie like me. He's just like, I think he's getting himself really hungry over here. He's telling how he's going to take care of his leftovers and everything. No, and I love that. Thank you for putting that in there. And yeah, what is it about turkey leftovers, especially if you put it into a sandwich, or I used to do like, even like put it in like tortillas or something, and that it's just better the next day. Damien asked the question. It's a good question, actually. What was your favorite UK meal when you visited? Well, a couple things. A friend of mine that I stayed with, and he runs Kaleidoscope, which is a missing television, British television missing organization where we help find missing programs for the BBC, ITV. I've returned myself a number of missing British television. But his ex-wife, she was from Jamaica, and she did this oxtail stew, and it was and for those of you who haven't had oxtail, getting the meat out of an oxtail is not easy. There's a lot of bone to it. It's almost like a chain, almost kind of like a bicycle chain for that, where you kind of pull out the meat and stuff, and then from there you can braise it and do it, or you braise it first and then you take it out. And she made this delicacy with good rice and everything. It was fantastic. And then I went to a pub, and I can't remember where, but we went with the guy who worked at, Damien, you may know the show Top of the Pops, and he was a camera person on Top of the Pops in the 1970s, early 1970s, Paul Henschel, and he went on to be a prolific photographer, where he'd go and he would photograph Paul McCartney and all sorts of pop legends and stuff, and got to know them all. And I went with him and Chris, and we went out to a pub because we're talking about a book, and I think I might be laying out a book that he is doing with all of his photography throughout the years. And so and Henschel is known for having a piece of missing Top of the Pops that was one of the most famous pieces that was missing, which was this fisheye lens of started off in the studio that turned into David Bowie singing Jean Genie. And it was a very famous piece that had been missing for years, only to realize that he had it because he had asked for a copy of that sequence because it was groundbreaking television for the time, and they actually gave him the 2-inch tape. So he had this, and we ended up going out to this pub, and to say it was fish and chips sounds very like, oh, that's not too terribly interesting. That's what everyone has over in the UK. It was truly the best fish and chips I've ever had. It was not upscale either. It was just really well made. It was at a pub that they did their own beer, which is not unheard of, but there was a raspberry beer that they had, and it was really good. It was just such a nice talk. Listening to him talking about all the people that you love to listen to that he photographed, having this amazing meal, just having it's August in the UK. It was a beautiful day. And then we went out to a couple Doctor Who locations, one where they shot a story called The Demons, and another different production that they did that is not Doctor Who, that some of you might have heard of, called Children of the Stones. So there was something really magical about that day. And it's food makes a big part of that, I think, as well as just the company and everything else. It was just an amazing time. My only regret is that I got a smaller portion of fish because I didn't know if it was going to be any good or not. And my friend Chris got the large portion, and that was it looked really good. And it, fish and chips in the UK is fish and chips, and then also the smashed peas. And Damien says tartar sauce with fish, and gotta have squirt lemon garden peas and onion rings. Onion rings I'm not familiar with, but I know what they are, but with fish and chips I didn't realize people did that. Interesting, all the same. So yeah, I mean it's good. And let's see here as we finish up, because isn't it amazing how quickly this all happens now? Tom, my friend Tom, breaking news from Tom. Finally, someone is non-traditional here. I will be preparing a prime rib dinner with rotini Alfredo, sauteed vegetables, salad dinner rolls, pecan and pumpkin pie, and ice cream for dessert. When do you want me there? When do you want me there? I'm doing prime rib for Christmas. I know that much. So that's Tom. Tom, you got the prize tonight. How interesting. All right, folks, we got through this really fast, didn't we? I mean, this went incredible. I really love it. Thank you all for including and sharing what you have going on for Thanksgiving. I'm going to be back Monday. We're going to be talking with Neil Cole. We're going to be talking about the 61st anniversary of Doctor Who, as well as talking about some of the props. It's going to be a lot of fun. Everyone, have a safe weekend, and I will see you Monday. Take care, everybody. I don't want to play, I just want to bang on